Today we're going to walk you through an overview of Tola Tables. Tola Tables is a data collection, aggregation, and management tool for multiple types of data collection methods. So it allows you to consolidate individual sets of data from multiple sources, such as Excel or mobile data collection tools like ONA or ComCare. And it brings them together into a single table, so allowing you to merge multiple data sets and then manipulate and edit those data sets and the values within them. It also allows you to export to a Google Sheet or create a JSON feed or other back-end data service processes for other tools, such as Tola Activity, linking to Tola Activity. So let's get started. So first, to begin, we'll start by importing data. So here you can see that there is a direct integration with ONA, the mobile data collection tool. So any data sets or forms that you have in ONA will be accessible here. So you can choose to import them or add them to an existing table. So for instance, let's create a new table. So if we create a new table, we give it a name and then import. We can now go in and then see our data. So we have two records here. You can also choose to import from another data source. So you can give, again, the source a name. You can provide the URL if it's in a Google Sheet. Give it the type of table that you want to create. You can choose to upload a CSV file, and then you can indicate who the owner is. So once we have all of our data sources uploaded into Tola Tables, we can now go in and either merge two tables together, or we can edit data directly in Tola Tables. So we have three tables that are existing, and let's first merge two of them into one master table. So one thing to note is that the table that you select to merge is your left table or your table A. This is important because you can choose more than one column from that left table or table A and map it to a column in table B. So you can't do it the other way, from right to left. So if we select merge, we can say, okay, we're going to merge test with test 2 and submit. And here step 1 is to select the columns that you want to include and map over into your new table, or your new data set. So let's actually select most of these. And then we're also going to select some over here. We select our columns, and then step 2 asks you to map the columns. So again, you can select one or more columns from table 1 and map it to a column in table 2. So if we select this meta instance, and let's map it a 1-to-1, you can say map selected column, so you can see that mapping is up here on the top. And let's say we want to continue and we want to map this form hub and create date with this form hub column in table 2. When we select multiple columns from table 1, it asks us how we want to merge the columns. So there's 3 options. You can concatenate them, you can sum them if it's a numeric value, or we can take the average if it's a numeric value. So we'll select concatenate and submit. And you can see up here again that those columns have been merged. So now let's go and submit to create our new table. You can see up at the top the merge table is accessible here. Once we click on that, we can see the data that we merged together. So for instance, we merged the form hub UID. Over here, we merged these 2 values. And then we also, if we go back, we merged the meta instance ID with the meta instance name. And you can see that here, that there's 2. You can also choose to edit or delete columns from your merge document. So we can choose to delete that. Or you can also choose to rename them. Go back to our data set, and then lastly you can also add a new column, or you can go in and edit the values directly for each submission. If we look and say, oh, that one wasn't correct, let's go back and submit, and then go back to table. So now, once we have our new table created, we can click on it and rename it. We can provide a description. And then you can also tag it. So if you're using Tola Activity, if you tag it with Tola Indicator or Tola Agreement, you'll be able to select these when you're in Tola Activity. And then we can also choose to share it. So then you can choose to make that table public or private. And then when you go to share, you can share it via a REST API, a JSON feed, or export it to an Excel document. Here you can also choose to select it to a new Google Sheet or export it to an existing Google Sheet. One thing to note is if you do export it to an existing Google Sheet, it will wipe out any additional or any existing data that was in that Google Sheet. Any documentation or FAQs about Tola Tables can be found here. And that concludes the overview of Tola Tables.